According to a report in Variety, Thor: The Dark World and the upcoming Thor Ragnarok screenwriter Christopher Yost has been brought on to develop the long-awaited Masters of the Universe film over at Sony's Columbia Pictures. Masters of the Universe follows Prince Adam, who has the ability to transform into a warrior called He-Man. As He-Man, Adam becomes the last hope for a magical land called Eternia, ravaged by the evil Skeletor. John Byrosell, Christopher Yost coming on board for Masters of the Universe.
I'm going to give it a buy simply on the basis that it just means something's happening with Masters of the Universe and He-Man. How this has not gotten a redo over since the Dolph Lundgren version, I don't know. And I had a lot of stupid fun. I kind of had the same feelings and place in my heart for that Dolph Lundgren He-Man movie as I do for Mortal Kombat. Yeah, it's a terrible movie, but I love it. I can watch it. If I'm flipping through TV and that movie's on, man, I'm stopping to watch it. I shouldn't, but I do. And this is a property that just should be on the screen. This is a very cinematic property if you do it the right way. Now, I didn't like Thor 2 as much as because I just adored the first Thor film. I didn't like Thor 2 nearly as much. I still liked the film, but it was a weak villain and stuff like that, had some problems. But it wasn't a throwaway movie either. So I'm okay with who's writing it. I'm just happy that it's happening. Christian, first of all, I need to know if you buy or sell this, but you actually have some background with this property. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Well, as far as the story, I buy it, and because of being involved with the property, is that what I always thought the way that Masters of the Universe should be portrayed on the big screen is Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings.
Always love the way you describe that.
That's what this property is. It's what it should be. The problem is that a lot of people who don't understand the property and look back to that 80s property just see the purple pants and the silly tiger and go, that's silly. What they forget about is the comic and the actual toys that inspired it. And you look at that. There was also, in 2002, they rebooted the cartoon and they gave it that feel. And you can find those episodes, and the mythology was really rich. And so the guy who wrote Thor, even though Thor 2 had a lot of problems with the villains and stuff too, he seems to have that tone down with especially the stuff in Asgard. I mean, that's Eternia.
That was actually really good stuff.
That's Eternia. So that's why I'm buying the story. As far as my story went, when I worked at Warner Brothers for Joel Silver, if you guys aren't familiar with what turnaround is called, it's like when a certain studio has a property for a while and now it's can be shopped around, you can grab a hold of it. It's turnaround, and John Woo had written a script for Masters of the Universe, and I love John Woo, but it was terrible. I mean, it had He-Man going and getting cheeseburgers, like literally asking Tila to get cheeseburgers. And I remember saying, we could get this property. And they're like, why would we want this? I'm like, because of everything I just told you guys. What I had to do was I had to go, because at the time I was like a development assistant at the time. So I had to go through financiers, and I had to go through Village Roadshow, and I went through Legendary, and there was a guy there, and I won't say his last name, but this is a guy named Neil, and I went to him and I told him the whole entire idea. I pitched the thing to him. He's like, this is great. We developed it for a while. Mark Riley, my good friend, wrote a big long treatment about it, hit the tone, took it to him. We were developing it for a while, and then finally the guy's like, we're working on Conan right now, so it's not going to work out. So then we started doing it internally. My buddy Naveed, who was there, and like, this thing's happening. Then we got a phone call from Justin Marks' agent, Justin Marks, great screenwriter. I love this guy. He's a great guy. He had Voltron going for a long time. His agent calls and says, well, Justin has this pitch that his buddy Neil took to him. The same Neil that I happened to pitch my idea to. Neil's a thief, a crook. He's a horrendous person. But because of all of it, we were able to bring that. We all met together and brought it, and Mattel was on board for it, and Joel Silver actually took the rights for it and got it from Warner Brothers. But as things happen, the development people, too many cooks in the kitchen, and then it eventually went away from there too. So I'm glad that now, hopefully, somebody takes that vision. It needs to be science and magic. You can do that. This is a series of films,
which is what Yost did with Thor 2 a little bit. So you're right. He's kind of got that toned down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it for a lot of the reasons you guys said, specifically because he's already written Thor, and Thor really is that the cinematic Thor is what they should be doing with He-Man. If you go back to Dolph Lundgren He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the director has said in interviews, I was trying to make DC's the New Gods. That's what he turned Master of the Universe in. He just kind of replaced a bunch of characters and had, Skeletor basically being Darkseid. So it's like those kinds of things have been around for a while. I'd love to see a real cool version of Masters of the Universe. And I like you. I like the cheesy Masters of the Universe. Quildor and his like the weird like flying, ships and stuff. It's really cheesy. But it's amazing when you think about it. You're like, we're still talking about them developing a He-Man movie. Why has nobody knows how to do it. Over 20, 25
that's
years?
The point.
They just don't know how to do it.
Nobody's got a grip on that. And you're right that Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings. That's the way you approach He-Man.
I'm still here. Give me a call.